Hey guys, welcome back to Revolution again. We're going to continue our series looking at the Comma Johannine and some of the evidence that backs up the Comma Johannine. And so um, we're looking at all the evidence, and so whether that's strong evidence or weak evidence or evidence that's questioned on both sides, we're just going to look at that. And so I just wanted to start with Emmanuel Calecas, sometimes called Manuel Calecas, or sometimes Emmanuel Calecas. And so I'm just going to read through his bio that I've got on my website here. So I'll just enlarge in this a little bit so we can read along. So Manuel Calecas, he died in 1410. So that's quite early. And so, we've looked at around that era. The 1380s, we understand that Wycliffe, he had the comma in his version. It had the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so he didn't have the word there, which is quite interesting. But so we see Emmanuel Calicus, he was a monk and a theologian of the Byzantine Empire. So this is, about 40 to 50 years before the fall of Constantinople. So Calicus was a disciple of Demetrios Cardonis. He lived in Italy, Crete, and Lesbos, where he translated the works of Boethius and Anselm of Canterbury into Greek, and several Latin liturgical texts such as Missa Ambrosiana, I'm probably saying these wrong, in Nativite Domini. Calicus translated the Comma Johanneum into Greek from the Vulgate. So this is considered, from Wikipedia. So it's just okay. That's what most scholarship just says. Calicus translated the Comma Johanneum into Greek from the Vulgate. That's where he got it from, sort of thing. So we're just going to look at what he did there. And so this is just a part one video. So it's going to be very short, and I'm going to expand on this as more knowledge comes to light. But sometimes it's not until you start doing something, then other people jump in and say, well, I've actually done an article on this, and they start throwing things my way, and that way I get more content. But we'll just start off with a brief bio and what he actually wrote. So Calicus was a unionist who sought to reconcile the Eastern and Western churches. In 1390, he wrote a work castigating the Byzantines for their separation from the Western Church. Calicus returned to Constantinople in 1403 with the Emperor Manuel II Palaiologos, but to his surprise was not given a warm reception by his old friends. As a result, he was forced to seek refuge with the Dominicans at Mytilene, where he died in 1410. So that's just a small little bio there. Just to give you an idea. So basically, he was around the time of Wycliffe. So I guess about the same time as Ryanhuss. I'll just type in Ryanhuss. Yeah, so Ryanhuss was sort of born around that similar sort of era. Okay, so he died 1415, so only 5 years after this Calicus. Okay, so let's look at what he has here. So in 1672, Francois Combefis published that work, which is a very long Latin words sentence. On page 219, it has the writings of Manuel Calicus, died 1410. So Principius Fidei Catholicae. And so I won't attempt to go through the Greek and through the Latin there. If you want more of that, just jump on my website. But the main thing is I want to just show you the differences between Calecas and Scrivener. So here we have Calecas and Scrivener compared. Okay, so tres esin ho materiontes, and so the hoti is taken out there. Ho pater, ho logos, ki tu pneuma to agion, that's Calecas. And so Scrivener has ho pater, ho logos, kai tu agion pneuma. So what's the difference there? You got the Father, so you got the definite articles here. So you got the Father, the Word, and the Spirit to agion, so the Spirit holy, where Scrivener has and to agion pneuma, which is the Holy Spirit. And so that gives you an idea of what he wrote. Just, I've just put Scrivener there just so you can make a comparison with that. It's interesting if you go through some of the works, like this is Philip Schaff and some of the creeds. And so he makes mention of this this creed. Actually, I think, yeah. So this is the Orthodox Confession. So the Orthodox Confession has 1 John 5:7 in it. So this is the Greek Orthodox Church, and so they have hoti tres estin ho materiontes into uranu ho pater ho logos kai tu agion pneuma. So they have 1 John 5:7 there, as it appears in the Textus Receptus, and they have it here in the Latin as well. So the Greeks, they adopted it into their creeds, but they also later on in the 1904 text, they adopted it there as well. And so let's just have a look at this document here. So this is, actually I better see what it is. This Communionium appears in 15th century writings of Emmanuel Calecas. And so I'm just going to open that in a new tab. And so yeah, this is obviously a later printing of the writings of Calecas. And so here I've got it underlined, so you can see exactly what it has. And so it's hard to read this old Greek, so it's a key or keho euangeliasis. It's got a I'm not sure if that's a stigma. Johannes tres estin ho materiontes ho pater ho logos kai tu pneuma to agion. And so, yeah, it clearly has, he's writing about, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit. So this is a guy who lived around the time of, Wycliffe and Ryanhuss. And so this is a Greek writing. And so people will just say, oh, he's copying directly, just straight from the Latin. Maybe so, maybe not. So we find a lot of these common representations of what happened and where people got information can be flawed or can be biased, or people will just footnote that and say, well, Bruce Metzger said that, or whoever, and sometimes you look into these things and they can be false. And so but yeah, so this is just going to be a short 10-minute video just showing you that there is a man, a Greek guy called Emmanuel Calecas, and he mentions the comma in his Greek writings, and it is when it has the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, it's almost identical to Scrivener's. And so when we have people like Erasmus coming along later on, it's not as if these things would have been hidden from Greek people. Calicus was quite famous. So we see also there was another guy called Bryennius, so a little bit later on, or probably around the same time actually. So he was doing the same thing. He was writing, and it's quite interesting if you go through the works of Bryennius, and you look at the book that he wrote about the Trinity. You can see he does a lot of artwork in it, and you can see where Father, Word, and Spirit are used interchangeably throughout all this artwork. So we have Father, Son, and Spirit, Father, Word, and Spirit. Now I'll show you some of those. We'll do another video on Bryennius, but I just wanted to make a starter video, a bit of a stub video, I guess. You know, when you start a Wikipedia article, you do a little stub. You know, you just write a little bit of information, and then hopefully that grows. And so this is part one of Emmanuel Calecas and the Comma Johannine. And so if you have any more information you want to add to this, send me that info. Any links, any pictures, any original source documents, that'd be appreciated. Okay, God bless you guys. Thanks for joining us.